Hi everyone, welcome back. So thank you for watching the video on the glue up of the rim. So today what I'm going to do is start answering those questions that you guys left in the question section of that video. So the first question is from Topper South. He's asking, what's the reason for using mahogany for the curved blocks? Is it a strength, resonance, or for some other reason? I did talk about this in my octave mandolin build. I believe that every component of the instrument affect the final sound. So if you have like let's say a maple back inside compared to an Indian rosewood back inside, maple being one of the brightest sounding woods, you're gonna have a brighter instrument. So when I'm building something, I like to think about all those little things that can affect the sound. So for me to use mahogany is that instead of having just maple in there to hold everything together, I believe that by using mahogany, that's going to help to mellow or to put it a bit warmer than it would have been with maple. Now maple and mahogany are very close as for brightness. It's just that mahogany has a bit more warmth. And after using it in the octave mandolin, I really liked how the instrument sounded, and that's why I decided to use it. There's also the fact that it looks pretty nice when you look in the instrument and you have a contrast of color. The next question is from Jason, and he's asking if I ever experimented with hide glue. I've never used hide glue in my builds. The reason is that I'm really satisfied with the results I'm getting with the Tide bonds I'm using and other products. Like if I would have to put a very oily like Coco Bolo binding, I'm using epoxy and those kinds of glues. There's CA glue and all those other stuff. So I'm really satisfied with what I have on hand. I'm not saying I will never try it, but as of now, building those instruments the way I'm doing them have given me pretty good results. So I don't see why I would change to hide glue. The only time I think I might try it would be when I decide to build a violin. There's some, I don't want to really say purist, but I'm lacking a better word. It's very frowned upon to try to build a violin and not use hide glue. So that would probably be the only instance where I would use that. But even there, I'm not even sure if I would. The Turtle Carpenter had an interesting question. He's asking, could you take some weight off by drilling through the blocks in the area that wouldn't take away the strength or affect the sound? So that's in reference with the weight I have on the neck block. It's proven, and I've been in structural, like it was steel structural, but I've been in structural, and you can have round holes that's going to lighten the whole material, and that's not going to affect the strength. So I am aware of that. The part I'm not sure is that when I've designed my instrument, I feel like I've condensed and minimized the footprint of every part to a maximum. So by drilling holes in those wood pieces right up close to where the dovetail is going to be, I feel that it's not a chance that I want to take. And as of now, at 2.5 pounds, I think the rim is doing pretty good, because I have been working on the soundboard right now, and this soundboard right now is just under a pound, and I still have to do the scroll, and so I think for a overall weight, we're gonna be just fine. There's a question from David Dean, who's asking if the reduction in the curve, if it affects the tone of the instrument. Less material makes it vibrate more. That's basically what I'm doing. The more weight you have to an instrument, the more the vibration gets lost into the whole body. So that's why you want to have like a minimum amount of material, but at the same time to have it structurally sound. That's the big thing with instruments. You always kind of floating on that thin line. Like if you put a bit too much material, you don't have the sound that you could have had if you went a bit thinner. But when you go a bit thinner and get that sound, the chance of the instrument breaking over time is greater. So it's always trying to find a nice balance and playing on that thin line. But that's one of the reasons why I got the curve just a bit bigger than I usually do for a smaller instrument. But at the same time, I remove like the edges and clean them up as much as I could to remove all the unnecessary amount of material that was on there. The next question comes from Pete Petrusa. He's asking, how does the kerfing jig works and what is it made out of? So I'll just show you quickly. So the kerf jig is basically just a little piece of plywood. I have a 90-degree to the blade rest, so I can use that to hold my material. And then on the back side, I just have a piece of wood that slides in that opening in the actual table. What I do after, when this is in there, I just put a block with a clamp where that's going to prevent, and I adjust it, but where it's going to prevent it from going too far. And what that does is allow me to get a lot of flexibility into those curved pieces. You might also have noticed that I had pieces that had more grooves than those ones. That was for the scroll section, because every 1/4 inch for the curve here was not enough to get the proper radius, so that's maxed out. I can go to a smaller radius than that. So by adding more cuts, so those ones are every 1/8 of an inch, that was enough to do the scroll section. I do that also when I do mandolins. Even though the curve is smaller, like you need to have more cuts to allow to do the radius of the scroll. So thanks everyone for your interaction and asking those questions. This allows me to put the information out there for everybody that wants to look at it. The next video is coming up pretty soon, because I was just yesterday doing some editing, and I'm already running pretty long with that, so I'll probably just do a video of this part and then focus more on carving the scroll in another video. So but this plate is going really quickly and it looks really nice. Check me on my Instagram and on my Facebook page. I'm also adding Patreon, so if you feel like you want to be helping the content of my channel grow, the content will always be free on here, but if you want to chip in to help out, I will be extremely grateful. And until next time, I wish you well.